You're good? Okay, it was just like the company recruiter. So it wasn't like a general recruiter. It was for that specific company. She just asked me about my tech stack, what I'm doing for work right now, what I want for income, what are my position goals. So I want to, my specific, my picky, or pretty general stuff. But she wanted to do it via Skype, which is the first one to do that. So that was kind of cool.
So where else have you applied this week since we've talked last?
Basically anything I can find I've tried Craigslist, Indeed, a few other stuff. Anything with like 3 to 4 years or less experience, I'll just apply. Edit my cover letter, my resume a little bit to match, what they say, what they're talking about, and I go for it. So probably since last time we talked, this week I would say about 30 or 40 jobs I applied for.
Okay, so you applied 30, 40, and then how far, what's like the closest one that you've had?
Distance-wise?
Yeah, because you don't want to take the train to like Chicago, right? So ideally, right. You'd like to drive.
My personal limit is like 45 minutes based on where I live, because I live like, between Chicago and Milwaukee, so I'm kind of like in a smaller town. So I applied mostly Wisconsin jobs, so it was mostly within 30 minutes is the bulk of where I applied this week.
Cool. So you want to give chat like a background of who you are and how we met and how long you've been doing this and...
For sure. Super back up. So I used to do window cleaning, had my own little window cleaning business. I owned it, operated it. It was cool. It was fine. And I thought, like, if anything ever happens and we need to move or any kind of change or anything at all, it's a super location-based, kind of business. So anything happens, it's pretty, I guess, dangerous, I guess you could say, because, if I can't do the work, you're dead. If I need to move, I gotta start from scratch. There's nothing you can carry over, if you have to move. So I was trying to figure out what to do. I always liked, computers and stuff, but honestly, I thought I wasn't smart enough. Like, there's no way. I haven't been coding since I was a little kid, so I can't do that. I can't. I'm not smart. I'm stupid. I can't do that. And my wife, thought that's like the worst mental viewpoint ever. So she kind of helped me like, where'd you get that idea? And then, push out of the way and start to see what do I want to do. And I always like computers and coding. It's super mobile. You can always move anywhere. Especially being English, it's also easier,
Yeah, but how long have you been doing this now? You've been doing this for like 6 months. I think almost exactly 6 months since we've been working together.
Yeah, so, I had the idea about it like a year ago, but I worked full time, and it was really busy commuting, and we were moving a bunch and buying a house, and it was a little complicated, so I just kind of put it on the back burner. And then 6 months ago, I decided it's now or never. Let's do it. So I quit my job, and I've been learning full time.
So if you guys don't know, I always mention it, but basically I'm a teacher, and I teach, and the place that I teach, we don't normally plug this, right? But like, he is my real student. I meet with him every week. We meet for an hour. We talk on Discord. I coach him through everything pretty much. Also, hey guys, everyone in chat. Do you have chat up, Michael? Can you see what's going on?
I don't, but I can't pull it up right now.
Oh, you haven't missed much. We're just talking. This is like my actual student. I don't normally do things like this, but I asked him if he wanted to come on stream since we're going over jobs. Like he's nearing the end of the school, so we're just prepping him for jobs, doing some interview stuff. I have a little whiteboard problem, really common whiteboard problem for him to do tonight for you guys. He's going to do it in Ruby. He initially started off with Ruby on Rails, or Ruby and Ruby on Rails. That was the path is what it's called on OpenClassrooms. Anyways, he swapped over to full stack recently, and he's been doing React, and he's got a lot of projects. So we're just gonna do one whiteboard problem, just because it can be a little bit nerve-wracking.
A little bit.
Yeah, especially because you're sharing your screen and all that stuff. So we'll do one of those tonight. But otherwise, I wanted to ask him some other questions, like stuff that you'll get in the interview. So we'll just go ahead and start and be like, all right, what is an MVC? How does it work?
MVC in a nutshell, the model view controller. I know like the model does like the brains, does like the thinking behind it. The view is what like the user sees, and the controller basically takes the input of what needs to be done and decides what view to show and or what model, what model to run, basically.
And then why would you need one of these? What kind of frameworks use these?
I'm using mostly on Rails, Ruby on Rails. I know like it's a lot easier than having humongous giant files, so it's super helpful. So Rails has it. I've used a little bit in PHP, so I think they're good. Can't get too detailed.
I think they're pretty good. You guys in chat, you guys can also drop some questions. I'm not trying to put them too much on the spot. Another question here is, tell me about React State. How does that work?
That's good. You got my soft spot, buddy. So state in a nutshell, it's basically all the info that's like retained, I think is how I would describe it, by your program. And I know like, how would you say? Yeah, I guess that's how I'd say it. Honestly, that's the newer part I've been learning is like JavaScript and state and stuff. So that's still a little harder for me conceptually, but I'm working on it.
Okay, so I guess I'll just go ahead and elaborate on it. So state is stores the data inside the React application. You can think of it, well, there's Redux, which is just like a store, and then it has, yeah. Okay, so obviously I'm going to ask him that, but basically state just controls the information that you have inside your application. Since it's a single page application, it's all stored in the one object all the time. That's the state. Or if you have Redux, you have a store in there, and I think React has this new thing which is called context, which is just like a copycat of Redux, pretty sure. So yeah, all right, let's just go ahead and do the question of the century, since that's how everyone got to know me, by bombing this question. Michael, go ahead and tell me what the React lifecycle is.
With the React lifestyle or lifecycle, sweating in here. Yeah.
Come on, I bombed the question.
In full honesty, that's been a big, like, I did my first React thing maybe three weeks ago, and it's been a little rough, honestly. I honestly don't think I can answer that.
I told you. Okay. All right. So let me refresh. React lifecycle is about how components mount and unmount, and components will mount. All that stuff. So it's about components will mount, components did mount, component unmount. Like that's React lifecycle methods. You watched me bomb the video, and I instantly told you what I bombed. Okay. So Samuel has a question. What defines a junior web dev versus a senior? When do you know you're ready? Okay, there's no point where it just clicks and you're like, when do I know I'm ready? Like, did you have that, Mike? Like, did a certain point come besides me saying, all right, start applying? Like,
for me in my personal life, it's more not when I want to start applying would be never, or 5 years from now. But in reality, like, I quit my job, so this has got to work. So I've been, it's good motivation when you need to do it. Like, basically sink or swim, So that was really good motivation, and I just thought I could either wait till I'm done with everything and then start applying, which in one sense you'd feel more comfortable, or start applying early on and just go for it, man. Just try. Like, I figured, what's the worst that'll happen in an interview if I don't get the job? I'll still get experience.
So like, Michael's been applying, and he's gotten pretty close to a couple jobs, and he's gotten declined from a few jobs. Some of them just went ghost protocol, but like, he's like, we've improved tenfold. So, all right. You got a question. You got the question, Mike. You answer.
Yeah. I got a question?
Yeah, Sam.
Up and running here. I don't see it, my friend.
Okay, what made you opt for the OpenClassrooms rather than going the free route?
That's actually a good question. There's so many places to learn. I had no idea what to do. Honestly, I had no clue. And my wife is European, and her sister is a dev. She's a Java dev, and over there, OpenClassrooms is huge and very highly regarded as well. So when I was trying to figure out what to do exactly, they opened up the English side. And so I thought, hey, you know, how many of the online schools or boot camps give you like a diploma and, you know, like a job guarantee? So I figure for us in our specific situation, if I want to go back to, you know, Europe as well, having a actual degree that's highly regarded is a huge plus. So I figured it's like a win-win.
Okay, so let me back up. As people are like, what? Also, you got another question from Mark you can answer after this, but let me back up. OpenClassrooms is basically designed for more European-centric folks because you get a diploma that is recognized by all the EU member states, and then most jobs require a diploma. So that is how it works. And so he doesn't have a diploma. His wife's European. If he ever goes back, he'll need that diploma in order to get a job there. Anyways, so what did you do before programming? You can go ahead and re-answer that real quick.
Yeah, sure. Before I started changing it all, I had my own business doing window cleaning. So I was like the owner, and I ran it myself. It was really good. I did like residential properties. So it was like me and, you know, awesome neighborhoods and houses all day. It paid well, but it was just, for me, it was too location based, and I think too risky, too dependent on the weather, and it was too iffy for me. Like as a family, you know, having a family, it wasn't stable enough in my view, in my idea.
Cool. So another one. Can we explain prototypal inheritance? Okay, so I guess I can explain that a little bit. So it's, I don't know why it makes it sound so complicated. Basically, you create a prototype, and then you create the thing that uses the stuff or the attributes from that prototype, and that's prototypal inheritance. So prototype is like your, I don't know, you create an animal, and then the sub object below that would be the dog. And if you give the animal traits like legs and eyes and teeth, like the dog would inherit those traits. So think about a class and then some subclasses that would inherit the main things, like a human, right? We all have a body and arms and eyes. And so person number one would obviously inherit all that, but it might have its own, you know, blue hair, blonde eye, or blonde, blue hair, blue eyes, blonde hair. Yeah, so Christian is here. He should be in here with us, but it's all right. He's got stuff to do. He's a busy dude. Yo, got accepted into Lambda school. Yo, Ben, you're the man. That's cool, dude. I'm glad that I could help. Actually, today I filmed a follow-up video with Troy, and he's pretty much been offered a bunch of jobs, so. Yeah, so prototypes go way, 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 way back, right? To like, you know, original JavaScript. Just don't go that far back, or you just confuse yourself, especially when you're trying to learn. So, Michael, you got a question?
Can you read it?
Yeah. How long have you been studying this now? I think about you answered.
6 months. Like the 1st of July was 6 months exactly. So like I wanted to do it earlier, but I was so busy with like work and commuting and like working on the house. I mean, I probably could have done it, but I thought the limited time I had, I spent it with, you know, my wife, and I thought it was well spent. So I planned the transition to jump full into it for a little bit.
So Mike, he normally studies all day, every day, but the way that this program is structured is a kind of like go at your own pace type deal. It's not a boot camp. It's not like you pay 13K up front and then do it. It's like you pay once a month and you go at your own pace. So if you want to take a break, blah, blah, blah. So it's not a boot camp. So it's not supposed to be, 3 months, then you get a job. Because he has life to deal with. Like, you just had a baby. All right. What else we got here? What is a binary search tree? Yeah, I'm going to skip that. No thanks. What's up? Revisualize. Yeah, so he pretty much studies all day, every day, but he's got... Do you get a certificate? You get a diploma recognized by EU member states, so it lets you get a job. What program? We're talking about OpenClassrooms. If you want more information, shoot me a message, and then I can hook you up with the dealio. but I don't normally shill that, so that's not what this is about. This is to help you guys. Cool. I can hear that.
Yeah,
So loud. How are you guys tonight? Yeah, am I still taking resumes for the new video? Yeah, I have like 15 resumes now. It just takes a lot longer than you'd think for me to scroll around them, and then I have then I scroll around and I have to blur them and I have to make sure everything's good. Can I drew the email? I'm not sure what that means. Does a certificate really matter? It matters in Europe. It's a lot different in the United States, but in Europe, education is so cheap. It's free in a lot of places and cheap in the rest. So when you go to apply to a job, they're pretty much like, why don't you have a degree?
What was he saying? Let's see. What did I stay motivated to learn every single day? What was my goal through those 6 months? Honestly, we were expecting our first child in June. So it was pretty awesome motivation to try to get it done before the baby, because trying to learn, get a new job, go to school, work in the house, all at once is a little much. So I thought if I can get it done before the baby, or really close to that time, it's good. And I would say I'm a few weeks out, maybe 2 weeks or so away from being done. Possibly less, but probably about 2 weeks.
So yeah, I mean it's pretty different. So it says costs quite a lot, right? So that's a per month. It's still cheaper even if you multiply that by 12 months. It's still cheaper than like 11K. What's that like? 3,600 or something. So it's pretty cheap. But it's go at your own pace, right? It's not designed to like take you in and get you out. It basically, it's to let people live their life. You can work, you can do part-time, you can do full-time. Obviously, you can finish it really fast. So theoretically, you could pay, I don't know, whatever 3 times 6 would be. So $1,800 or something. And then you'd be done, and then you get a job. Also, there's a guarantee, right? So I'm always on the thing where it's like, don't go to a place that doesn't have a guarantee. And I say that because there's no reason not to. So this has the guarantee, right? If you don't get a job 6 months after you graduate, then you get all your money back. So if I don't get him a job in 6 months when he's graduated, he gets all his money back. Anyways, enough of that shill. Do I recommend any websites to volunteer as a tutor? There's an easy open source. So open source is going to be really hard to contribute to no matter what, unless you catch something early on. So you can volunteer on Free Code Camp if you want.
Background? Do I have a background in tech? No, nothing at all. Absolute zero. No tech any way at all. No. I did like physical work, like window cleaning. I had my own business doing it, and that's that. So kind of working remotely would be my ideal. That would be awesome. So if I don't find a job right away remotely, my goal, of course, is to eventually be remote. Did I paint that cat picture in my room? I did not. It was a gift from our friend in Europe.
So let's see. Yeah, so ES6 syntax. Yeah, ES6 is pretty good. Have a good one. Thanks, Chris, for showing up. You didn't have to, but appreciate you. So ES6 is pretty chill. I prefer more like old school stuff. There's some stuff in ES6 like spread operator, some nifty stuff, but I don't know. It cuts things down a little bit, but it's all right. I mean, you have your const and all that stuff. It's really not too far away. Yeah. So all right, let's just go ahead and do like the whiteboard problem then. So it's going to be super, super common. You guys will probably know it. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and do FizzBuzz. Okay, so we're going to do up to 100. If it's divisible by 3, fizz, divisible by 5, buzz. If it's divisible by both, FizzBuzz. So go ahead and share your screen, and then
my screen.
Yeah, do that in Ruby, since that was your OG language.
I just have the file saved as Ruby right now, but there's nothing. It's an empty file.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead and do that.
All right. So we need a loop.
I'll just talk to chat while you set this up.
Sure. I'll
Sam,
just
need to bounce. Yo,
here.
Maybe I can have you on one day. You have a great night too. Implement it purely functional. I think he'll implement it to get it working. Oh, Nash, what's up? So this is actually a super common problem, and there's like one main gotcha to it, so it's not too bad. I didn't know Nash was subscribed, so he got this notification somehow. So if you guys see Nash Foster in the video, he was the guy I interviewed that worked at Google. He's the CEO of Pyrefx. He's chilling here with us, so that's pretty awesome. Figured he'd be maybe playing some Fortnite or something. So Ruby's good. So let's see. Has anyone ever asked me for? Yeah, I've been asked FizzBuzz at least like 6 out of 10 times. So it's a super common one. This is just to make sure you can write a loop and you can check conditions and while someone's watching you. So pretty much that's how that goes. Hungry Moose says, now FizzBuzz is the real deal. I've been asked it like all the time. Array flatteners, I've been asked those all the time. It is a meme. Can I stress you? All right, I'm gonna need you to tell me everything that you're doing.
No.
Oh, jeez.
I'm gonna make a loop first, cause.
Can you zoom in? Can you control mouse wheel?
In, like zooming, way out.
Just control mouse wheel forward.
Yep. I'll work on that for a minute. Hold on. There you go. Thanks.
There you go. So maybe that's a little bit clearer. Let's see. No coding experience, online bootcamp, struggling to retain information and grasp concepts. Do you have any tips for taking notes? I would say when you learn something, use it right away. Like as soon as you learn a skill, apply it. Don't wait until you get to the end and start learning. Like it's good to build on stuff, but as soon as you learn a new skill, you need to apply it right away to go ahead and like cement that knowledge. Even if it's just like a simple algorithm, just retype it out and do it again, and then do it again, and then understand how that's compiling down to the answer that you want. What's the hardest question I've been asked in an interview? Something binary search tree. That was fun. Oh, there's an array flattener with like multiple objects and arrays and different types of I guess, like integers and strings, and just it was a mess. It was just a complete mess of code, and they were like, "Can you organize this and flatten it?" Okay. So let's see. Can I make the fonts larger? You have to scroll in, Mike. Scrolling. So hold control and then mouse wheel forward. There you go. Now that's clear.
So I made the loop. First I just made it work. Like I tested the loop, just that breaks at 100, first of all.
Sure. Yeah, you just keep going. Well, I'll just keep answering.
X equals.
Chris, the video that I posted with Nash is right there. So you guys interested in like serious software engineering, you should hit Pyrefx up. Nash is always looking for some good talent. Not to say that the interview process is easy, right? He worked at Google, so his interview process is going to be pretty similar to that. But, So hopefully you guys can see his code.
I'm just testing. I'm just playing with stuff for a minute before I get too far. Okay.
So I'm using Discord tonight.
Making sure it works.
Okay, that's good. So you got your loop running.
So Ruby FizzBuzz.rb. Okay, so that's okay. Cool. So that works. I can finish. Ironically, the hardest part for me is the main thing is the loop. I don't know why. All right.
Yeah. So Tell me what you're thinking. Walk me through your steps. What are you doing? What's this if? How does
First
it work?
step, make a loop work and make it break. Like, I don't know if you probably saw, I was zoomed in. The first thing I did, make a loop, and it was open-ended and just kept running and running, and so I didn't break it. So that's not good. So then I had to add, the limit, what to do, how to end the loop, and then so the loop's running. That's awesome, but it doesn't mean anything else. So the FizzBuzz thing, if it's divisible by 3 and by 5 with no, extras, it's FizzBuzz. So that does work. And I need to break it down, put each of these by themselves, and theoretically it works. I am most comfortable in Ruby. If it was another language, it would be a lot more of a struggle.
We can do JavaScript after this.
No, we can skip JavaScript. It's cool. That's fine. But in reality, it's not too bad. It's all about the syntax. For me, it's the hardest to remember. I would say that's a challenge, I guess, learning it in 6 months. I mean, I had no coding experience, so trying to learn HTML and CSS and JavaScript and Ruby and Rails, it all kind of gets to a blur at a point. So you have to make sure you organize yourself pretty well. You practice enough, otherwise it's just a hot mess, So I guess you gotta be careful about that. If x divisible by 5.
It's so annoying when people are like, "What are you thinking?" Like, tell me what you're thinking. Well, how about you let me work on the problem? Yeah.
When will this end?
That was my whole thought process when I was doing that React one. He's like, "Just tell me what you're thinking there." I'm just like, hit the power button on the computer and say you lost power. Sorry, Rocky Mountain Power cut me off. Interview candidate's not your girlfriend.
It works.
Okay, so what is the gotcha here? Why this order and not a different order?
We can test that. How about that? Let's see. Actually, do this.
So you want me to answer that? Nash is here. He's the CEO. He's the dude at the top. I feel like I've been outgamed at my own game. I'm just going to let him answer questions. Nash, we should do a live stream one day where we don't, we can talk about PyRefX if you want, but I think a lot of people would definitely gain some insight from your 20 plus years of experience. That'd be fun.
So doing it the other order, it kind of works, but there's no FizzBuzz, as you can see.
Correct. That is the gotcha. You need to check both conditions first or it will never reach it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so people are going to ask you that question. They're going to be like, what is the gotcha to FizzBuzz? How does that work? Right? Well, you need to check both conditions first. It's not just a meme. They're just checking that you understand that there are certain gotchas in certain languages. Is Ruby beneficial to learn? If you want to learn Sinatra, Ruby on Rails, I think that's about it. It's okay. How do you feel about if someone messages you on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, your company looks pretty sweet, and I applied for a position" or something like that? Would that turn you off, Nash? You gotta turn your camera back on, Mike.
Oops, sorry. Just chilling over here. Just trying to hide. Is it beneficial to learn Ruby? I had a few recruiters call me, and they're just like, "Oh, we'll call you if we have any Ruby jobs," and they never do. But I've had 3 interviews so far, and the ones I've talked to, the developers and stuff, they don't really care if it's Ruby or not, because they said what I've seen, it's the same basic principles. So if you learn that, you can pick up some other stuff. So it was not a deal breaker for a recruiter. It might have been, but for the actual companies, it was not.
So what is your favorite language that you've experienced so far? You've worked with PHP, you've worked with Ruby, you've worked with JavaScript. Which one do you like the most, and
Yeah,
why?
PHP was, I had a job lead and they were PHP. So I knew there's going to be a PHP test, a technical test. I knew very, very vaguely what it was about. It was pretty heavy. So I tried to learn it. I prefer Rails over PHP, Ruby over PHP. I don't have much experience with any other ones like Java and stuff, but I know my sister-in-law is Java, and she loathes PHP. Ruby's all right. I wish there were more jobs like available in Ruby, honestly, because I'm pretty comfortable in it.
So, all right. So that was the first time you've done like a whiteboard on the interview. Was that helpful for you guys? Can we get some feedback on that? I mean, you saw the code. We kind of talked it through. I'm not gonna bug him about it while he's doing it, but you know, I think we could do more of these like this, but we could, you know, gradually increase the difficulty. But it depends on someone's experience. We could do more data structures maybe. I gotta do a code review. Some things could be better. I mean we could, right? But I don't like, maybe off stream. Yeah, so we're here to like practice interview. We had like a list of questions, right? So another one so Nash, do you ever ask any soft skill questions? Like I've gotten so many like, why should we hire you? Do a simple binary search of an array. I suppose we could do that. I don't know, I'm trying to keep this relatively short, like 30, 35 minutes, 40 minutes. Because ain't nobody got time to watch 45-minute videos, you know? Barely get 5-minute retention on most videos, except for the people hanging out. So I'll probably go in about 8 minutes or so, about 8 o'clock. A tutorial on how to use DigitalOcean. Yeah, sure, it's not too bad. It's pretty similar. Well, I mean, it's not that far, but yeah, I can do a tutorial on how to use DigitalOcean. Depends on what you want to put on there. What are you trying to do? You trying to do like some Next.js or something? You want to do... What you trying to do? Okay. What books people have read lately? Well, that's a good one. Yeah, so I'm still doing the resume review if you guys want to. So React versus Angular for a beginner. Do React. It's purely front-end based. You don't have to deal with the model or back-end. I think that might be easier to grasp at first. So I'd go ahead and start with React. Basically, all Angular is a way to use components, pretty much. And the components are just like, or what are they called? Directives in Angular, I think. And then that's basically just React components. And then you have a view controller. So, yeah.
I'll take a look at my resume and rip it apart.
I didn't download it, so I wasn't gonna do that. I don't think there's enough time. I'll put you in my video instead.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right, so that will be the next one that we'll do in the next stream where we're talking to students. So I guess another question, what do you think of me? How have I been mentoring so far?
As a mentor, like how the school set up really super quick too. It's project based. Everyone done with the project, I get a random mentor. I don't get Josh. I get someone else. So I've seen like a bunch of different people and how they their style is, how they talk to me, and the questions they ask. I'll honestly say out of all of them, I prefer you as the mentor. I think it's just your style, questions you ask, super helpful, super like, how do I say?
I didn't prompt him to say any of this, just FYI.
You get the hustle game on. No, you didn't tell me anything. No, man, I think it's cool that too, like your background too. I think it's super cool, motivating.
Yeah, I mean, I made the switch, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like to grasp concepts when you have no background of like programming or software. So I try to show things as I would secretly the script on Discord. We can't, so this is full screen Discord. What you see right here is full screen, and so if I want to see messages in Discord, I can't. And then you guys would see it too. So obviously I can't be having that. Yeah, so basically he tests at the end of every project. He has to take a test with another mentor. some random person that has to approve it. So it's not just like, here you go, you're good to go. Someone has to like look over his work and my work and like make sure it's like up to standards. So
they record it too, and then when I went to school at jury.
Yeah, so it's
okay.
Yeah, so it's recorded, and then at the end of like when he's done with the school, like a whole jury full of software look at all of his projects and decide if he gets the diploma or not. Yeah. Anyways, host your MERN stack. Is Node worth learning? Yeah, Node's pretty good. If you like the MERN, you're asking about Angular, and are you allowed to use Google during the test? No, you're not. You basically have to show your project and you have to present it, and they ask you questions, a lot more technical questions than I'm asking him right now. I don't really have a reason to do that right now. If you want, you can look up the courses on the website. Where's he from? I'll let you answer that, sir.
I am from Wisconsin, but my wife is from France, so that's the story.
Yeah, that's it. That's how it goes. What is the monthly cost? $300 a month. Do I use jQuery a lot? Yeah, we actually have jQuery, Vanilla.js, but we're using ASP.NET, so that's fun. But we have libraries in our application that are integrated with jQuery, so I guess by default I'm using jQuery. Like there's a calendar that we use, some other stuff. It's obviously not my first choice, but we'd have to rebuild the application from the ground up, and it's just too customizable. It's not cost effective to do that at the company with the amount of dev resources we have, so I mean, it is what it is. It's fine. We just try to improve with what we have. What school is it? It's called OpenClassrooms. It's mainly looking for European people. Yeah, .NET's pretty good. React Rails. Yeah, there's a couple projects that he had to do React Rails with here at the school.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's slowly moving away, but at least with jQuery, you actually have to know some vanilla JavaScript. You don't have to know vanilla JavaScript to write React anymore. Monthly cost for OpenClassrooms is 300 euros. If you message me, they give me a code, and I can give it to you, and then you can get a discount on the first month. Right? I feel so bad like shilling this, but if you want to know, message me, I'll give you the code. There you go. That's how it is. jQuery or React? Yeah, obviously the answer is React. I mean, jQuery does ruin people, but you still have to know more Vanilla.js and jQuery than you do React. React is just like import. Okay, what's that? Oh, props. Okay, take this from this page and put it on this page. It's not too bad. jQuery mobile, jQuery UI. That's what we use. Run away. Stay far away. Some book to learn JavaScript. Oh man, there's a whole bunch. I don't necessarily know that you would need a book to learn it. There's a whole internet full of resources out there. I know, but like you don't have to understand that React is doing that or that it's from ES6. Are the classes from Lambda online? No, he's not. He doesn't go to Lambda school. He goes to a different school. It's called OpenClassrooms. The business model and the structure is entirely different. Lambda school is a 6-month full-time thing. The one I teach at is go at your own pace, $300 a month, right? So they're different. They're different business models. We should collab. 3K subs would be cool. Yeah, dude, let's do it up. 2.5 years of experience. Sounds like you're me. I'm down. Let's collab. People collabed with me. I got here. I'll collab with you. Happy to help, dude. Humble beginnings. I know what it's like because I was there like 2 weeks ago, so I don't really know what's going on at this point in my life. Eloquent JavaScript is free. The easy way to learn JavaScript is a good one. MDN, like, basically. They're all, I mean, there's not like a game-changing, just go to Codecademy or free Codecamp if you want to start learning. How do you go from your first job to your second higher-paying job? You apply, and then, I don't know, you get enough experience and you apply, but you're going to be in this weird, like, are you a junior level, or are you still, like, a There's different paths. So he has done Ruby on Rails, or the Ruby path, which began with basic Ruby, and then after that he went to Ruby on Rails, but then he moved to a full stack because he wanted to do React. So pretty much we do everything. We do SQL, we do SQLite, we do Rails, we do a whole bunch of stuff. It's full stack program. To use Bootstrap. Once you use Bootstrap, you can't unsee Bootstrap. Can I tell you about Lambda School? I mean, you can. There's a video I made on it. You can watch that. What a lucky stiff. I've never heard of that. I mean, you don't have to use Bootstrap, but it's just everywhere. It's so copy-paste. Just copy-paste Bootstrap buttons. What determines if you get hired a mid-level versus junior developer? It's going to depend on how well you match with the company's tech stack, pretty much. Like, you may spend, like, maybe, like, this is the weird part about development. You may spend, like, 2 years getting kind of close to this weird mid-level position. Then you apply to a job that's, like, nothing like that you've done. So now are you junior with their tech stack, but mid-level in experience? So you're in this weird phase. I've been in that phase, and it sucks because no one really knows what you can do. Like, yeah, you're an expert with your last company's job, like, your last company's tech stack, and that was your very first... That was like your very first job, and so now you think you're hot stuff, but like you don't know anything of what we're doing at this job. So to us, you're still junior, you know. Like maybe you won't merge your own pull request or something, like I did at my first job. Media queries, I mean that works. However you want to do foundations greater than Bootstrap. I mean I guess use what you want, man. Flexbox is good too. Anyone know Python? I think some people. Material UI. I mean that's good, but that's not. I don't know. That's more of a UI thing. So, Mike, you got a question from Juan.
I do see. How I structure my day? Well, I quit my job, so that definitely helped, honestly. At the time, my wife was working full-time still, so I picked up the slack on, like, you know, house stuff, cooking to help. So it's actually, you know, functional for a little bit. So I just got up early, and I gave minimum 8 hours a day into coding every day. It's not too, when you don't work and you're just doing coding, it's a lot of flexibility. I guess the challenge is staying focused, I would say. Not the time, but just staying focused.
Yeah, I mean, he's pretty good. He structures his day pretty, I mean, he works 4 hours, goes to lunch, and then comes back and finishes it, and then has family time. He takes the weekends off. It's like a full-time job for him. But, yeah. So, I mean, he obviously can take, like, life obligations and stuff. Let's see. Do I bring a laptop to a job interview? I mean, you should, just in case, but yeah. Get distracted easy.
You gotta put yourself in like a bubble. I put myself in the office. I don't go like, you know, in the living room in front of the TV or coffee shop. I tried the Starbucks a few times, but it's too distracting. Too many people moving around, and I just sat there like browsing. So, nope.
How long did it take me to get my first job after boot camp? 3 weeks. You're graduating nervous and getting hired. Don't worry about your age, dude. Worry about what you can do. How fast you can learn over what you know. I mean, obviously you need to know how to solve some problems, but it's how fast you can adapt, I think. Is Django worth knowing? Yeah, I mean, if you want to do web dev with Python, you can do Flask. I mean, Python is like really data intensive. It's like right now it's the hot stuff for machine learning, AI. Not necessarily like other stuff's catching up, but right now that has the edge. How many hours did I learn before I got my first job? I mean, I don't know. On a day, it depends. Like sometimes it was 4, sometimes it was 6. Like I have to stop. I can't just sit at the computer and pound my head against the wall. I have to stop and like walk away and then come back. Python's pretty cool. I really want to like automate some drones. That's my dream. I'm gonna get some hardware and I'm gonna build a drone and I'm gonna put some Python on it. It's gonna have face recognition or I don't know, person recognition, and it's gonna follow people down my sidewalk. And then when they get past the boundary of my house, it's gonna go land in my backyard and start charging again. That'd be fun. That'd scare people.
Am I learning Ruby only? Right now I'm working on Rails and a React project with some, let's see, Google Maps API stuff. right now.
So deployment typically refers to deploying the application to like a production or like a server. So you take the code that you have on your local host and you deploy it to a server, right? So you get that up and running, get the server matching everything that you need on there to be able to run the application just like you have on your local host. And then obviously you have to do some backend stuff. How often should you ask for help? Set a time limit for yourself. Usually give it a shot, give it a few hours, but don't wait until the boss comes to you and is like, yo, what are you doing? And then you're like, I'm stuck. And he's like, why have you been sitting here? Like, just come ask. Nash is basically Yoda, yeah. I mean, he's the CEO of huge companies, so. Michael is using Heroku to deploy apps. Yeah, I mean, what you should do, like when you go into a job, just be like, yo, I'm willing to learn whatever you have. As you can see here, I've just taken a code school or a code boot camp, which I've learned all this technology, and I don't really care if yours is different, but I learned that, so I can probably use yours. You know, give me a shot. Is Ruby standalone? Yeah, Ruby's its own language. Ruby on Rails is the framework. It's like JavaScript and Angular. What was the first time like when I put my code in production? It was bad because I made my own pull request. Then I merged my own pull requests, and they weren't using Git flow, so it went right to production. That was bad, right? Obviously, I didn't do anything super bad, but just the fact that I was allowed to do that was kind of bad on their part. But yeah. No stack when you're using Ruby? I mean, you can use a stack, and then it's called Ruby on Rails, or I think there's Sinatra also. But Ruby by itself is just like JavaScript by itself, or, well, actually, it runs locally, not in a browser. Do I use Trello? How do you keep your tasks organized, Michael?
I use a lot of notebooks. I always have like document what I'm doing, write it down. I like paper books for my projects. Plan them out pretty well before, write it down, do one at a time, break into small pieces.
I mean, I prefer the old tactile pen and paper to write my stuff down on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, there's a use case for Trello, but I'm more of a tactile. Like, I like to scratch this off, put a little check, and just, update it as I go during the day. But, as a dev team, Trello is pretty good. Jira is good. I've used that before.
How to make a decision to quit my job? For me, honestly, it was time. I preferred to do it like reduce my work and do it part-time. But then we found out we're having, our baby. That took all priority and getting it done before the baby or around the time of the baby. So yeah, it was good motivation.
Do I have a fear of getting fired when messing up or asking for help too much? No, generally if they give me something I don't know how to do, I let them know up front. I don't know how to do this, but I'm going to try and figure it out. And when I can't figure this out, or if I can't figure this out, then I'll ask you for help. But just FYI, I don't know what I'm doing, but give me a shot to try and learn. And I think that's a respectable thing to do. I mean, just don't... They know when they're hiring you that you probably don't know what you're doing. I mean, you have an idea of what you're doing, but not in a professional scenario. Do I think at this point, when making a website responsive, should you design for any phone smaller? I mean, I don't know. Who knows? Like, the waves of phone trends are all over the place, Like... who knows? They might go up, and then they might get smaller, and then they might be the size of your fingernail one day. Like, who knows? I can't answer that accurately. I like Trello because it's free.
Good reason.
iPhone SE. I don't know. Just design for the iPod Mini, and then you're good. Progressive web apps. I think I used to remember what that meant, but I forgot what that meant. Do I do TDD or write test afterwards? It depends. Right now we're doing TDD afterwards just because it makes sense to write. Like when you're learning TDD, it makes sense to write the application and then understand what you're testing in that application, rather than like if you're you know, flawless at writing them, you probably do it the other way to make sure that what you're writing is good. But when you're learning, I think it's easier to do the other way around. What backend language did I learn at my boot camp? Nothing. I learned nothing. My boot camp was 3 months long. There was 30 people. Everyone dropped out. There was like 4 people on the last day, 2 people on the day after that. Like, it was all Angular. They taught us parse. You may have heard of that. It doesn't exist anymore. It went out of business, and that was a core piece of the curriculum. We spent a good 3 weeks learning a piece of curriculum that basically degraded and is no longer up. So that was neat. So basically no back end. It was just front end and Angular. Yeah, I think TDD first is a little bit difficult to write first. I mean, you gotta, especially if you're like currently developing an app. I don't know. I would do it backwards just because it makes more sense to me. So then you have everything established that you want to check. Let's see. When a designer hands me a mock-up, do you need to make your own measurements of the areas, or are those given to you? Generally, you get a PSD or a sketch file or something like that, or maybe you could use Zeppelin. Zeppelin is a cool add-on for Sketch, and that will export it out to basically a file where it shows you all the dimensions. You just click on it. So it's a really cool thing I use at work. Zeppelin's pretty sweet. Do I use Java? No, I don't use Java. Actually, I'm trying to learn Java today because I am trying to debug. I'm trying to automate an app on my phone pretty much with another app, and I'm getting this denial error. Like, I can't. It's not letting me do it. Let's see. XD? Yeah, XD is good. It's free for Windows. Do people ever ask you for a CV instead of a resume? Maybe if you're like in Europe, it's pretty much the same thing. People say CV in Europe. In the US, we say resume. What's up? Yo, who wanted to collab earlier? Send me an email. Please. I'm down to collab. Where you at? What you do? How are you guys doing? Nash, when are you going to schedule this this live stream with us? So that way you can completely hijack the channel. And everyone's like, when's Nash going to be on? Every time. I can see it now. Still gaming. I mean, I game sometimes at night. Maybe on a Friday night I will. Not really. Not that much. I want to. I like to, but I don't know. Udemy ads you get on YouTube? Me too, man. Me too. I'm sorry that you have to see those. Python's where it's at. You should learn. Oh my god. If I see that one more time. Let's see. Never too young, dude. Try and learn. Am I still playing WoW? I might log in the new expansion, run around a little bit. But I don't have the time to dedicate to it. Whenever I want. What does your schedule look like in the evenings? That's when I normally do these. But a lot of people are on the East Coast and they're going to bed right now. How much pre-work do you think someone needs before going to a boot camp? I mean, just learn. You need to learn how to sort through arrays and objects, how to pick out keys.
My school, I didn't do anything beforehand. I don't know what I was thinking. It would have definitely helped if I would have done a little bit, like got my hands dirty with some code before. But I didn't until the first day. I'm not sure that was a good idea. But
they used to teach Angular 1 at Dev Mountain. So I went to the part-time class because I had a full-time job doing mechanical engineering and I couldn't go to the full-time. And I just moved here from Finland, so I didn't have any money saved to just quit my job and go. And I didn't have any credit built up to take out a loan to do it either. So I had to go to the part-time thing. It was $4,500, $5,000 down. They sent me a little book, said, read this before you come to class. I read a couple pages and tried to do it, but I was like, all right, well, guess I got to go now. They'll just teach me it, and like I should have done it, but I didn't. I slacked, played games. Anyways, they taught us Angular 1. That was like the core curriculum of it. But they tried to get Firebase. That was before Google bought Firebase. And then parse. And then we had like a couple weeks at the end. It was like 4 days a week, a couple hours on Saturdays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Like I gave up my whole life for a while just to learn how to do this. It was weird. And I was working like 4 12-hour days, so. Anyways, that was a rant. Everyone just stopped talking to hear about my struggle bus. You guys can do it if I can do this, because I showed up to class and I didn't know what I was doing most of the time, and here I am. Now I'm this guy trying to help you guys, and so it inspires me. Like, if I can do it, you can do it, you know?
Any more questions for me? You're taking all the heat over here.
Yeah, any more questions for Mike? I'm just like stealing his thunder.
No, you're good, man. You're doing it. I'm trying to get it. So
how do you convince your boss to let you do 410s? Why should you have to convince him? I feel like he should trust you. I don't understand. Like, if you're getting all your work done, just be available on the days that you're not doing 410s. That'd be my suggestion. You need to give up a little bit of that work-life balance if you want some flexibility. Goes both ways, partner. Firebase worth using for large projects? I can't say. I've never really used it for a large project. Yeah, so I asked my boss for a few days remote because all my jobs have been remote and I don't like people over my shoulder. It's kind of like, I don't know. I like to be in my space, crank up the tunes, all that stuff. And then people come in and they're like, slip their coffee and like all the water cooler talk. I'm like, just let me work, man. Anyways, what does Mike do? Go ahead.
Biggest weakness, JavaScript, which is also a big reason why I want to switch the full stack route so I could get more involved in that. I need to get really in that. It's pretty important.
He just switched to full stack, so he's still catching up on everything. He was really deep in Rails.
Yeah. Let's see. What do I do? I am full-time school, almost done. Looking for a job right now. So I'm applying everywhere.
He's had some interviews. He's having some successes. We're still working through it. We're trying to find him the right job. He's had some successes here. Oh, go ahead. I got more questions.
Background before, I owned a window cleaning business. Okay, Michael. What else you fit? My biggest one. I think my biggest was the first time going into like object-oriented design, going in the back end. The first time I had no idea what the heck was going on. So it took a while to get, to get it. It took a lot of work. Full stack Ruby on Rails means the school, the Ruby, the Rails was more heavy in Ruby, and Rails, like going deeper into it, very, very, very light on the front end, like super light. So the full stack I've switched to is about half and half. It's a lot more heavy with JavaScript and React, and not nearly as intense and deep into Ruby and Rails. Michael, what's your biggest fear? Not finding a job soon enough, because we had our first child, so it's a little bit of pressure,
We'll get it, dude.
Healthy.
I will find you a job, guaranteed.
I have faith.
I will get you employed. I will teach you what you need to know. You don't understand what full stack versus Ruby on Rails. So the paths that they offer at the place that I teach are different curriculums, and one of them is mainly Ruby and Ruby on Rails, and the other one is JavaScript and React with a Rails backend, actually. So go ahead, answer what are you in school for?
I'm in school for right now full stack, so I'm learning Ruby on Rails mostly and React front end. I started from absolute zero. My first thing was not even the hello world. I never even did that. So I know how to watch videos on YouTube, and then started the journey.
How old are you? I don't even know how old you are.
32.
Never too late. I got an email today, actually, or yesterday. I'm like, no, dude, it's not too late to learn. You gotta go for it. How do I prepare for a technical interview? All right, this is like the best investment is in myself. See, I'm not the only Tony Robbins of code here. See, that's what I would say. Don't invest in outside things. Invest in yourself. This is why we get along. Okay, how do I prepare for a technical interview? You look at the company, look at Glassdoor to see what they have going on. Look at their interviews there. And then you need to look at the stack that they're using. You just need to look at the company and research what they're all about and see what they're using. And then you're pretty much at a guessing game. Obviously, when the HR lady emails, you can be like, all right, should I prepare for anything? Can I message the CTO or whoever? Let's see. Do I think full website like Wix will take over front end? No. Wix is limiting. Maybe they'll add options to make it not limiting, but those options are still limiting for people who don't know what they're doing. I don't think there'd be a reason to not learn this, to make it from scratch. Like, you don't need Wix. Wix costs money per month in domains, and like you can do all that way cheaper. It's, if anything, just time saving, cost saving. You can't apply frameworks. Like, there's going to be a need. They're going to have to really up their stuff.
And hit their commercials on YouTube. It's super annoying, all the Wix commercials.
Do I ever incorporate open source projects? Yeah, there's one that I use called Calendar.js. That's open source. I use that at work. What assets do you need to buy? So we're talking like property. Property is a good asset to buy. Businesses are good assets to buy. Obviously, if you're making stuff. Things, don't. This is a rich dad, poor dad right here, right? So rich people make money work for them, and poor people work for money. So you gotta invest in assets that are returning, that have an ROI, a consistent ROI. Let's see. What skills do you need to be? Dude, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all those books. I love those books. What skills? I don't really know. You need to know vanilla JavaScript for sure. You're gonna have to understand AngularJS. I learned Angular 1, and now there's like Angular 15. Let's see.
Window cleaning company. I just closed it. I moved. So I told like my favorite people, I redirected them to someone else.
Cool.
No big deal.
Yeah. So what are some free websites to learn to code? I mean, all right, here we go. I'll rant off the list that I can think of off the top of my head. Free Code Camp, Code Academy, Coding Wars, Coding Fights. There's also Code School. There's the Odin Project. They teach Ruby, and Ruby on Rails has a backend there. Those are some ones off the top of my head. I think there's like Treehouse. Team Treehouse is free to a certain extent. There's a huge list. There's just unlimited free learning to code everywhere. Most of this is pointed towards web dev. Like YouTube, obviously, is a great resource. There's free stuff on Udemy. Do they talk about cybersecurity? No, not so much. Treehouse 7-day trial. I didn't know. Euler project. I didn't even know that was a thing. Make a new email every week. How long were I learning code before I got my first job? The code bootcamp that I went to was 3 months long. It was 3 weeks after that. Somewhere in January, I got my first job. Post the link in Discord, Visualize. That'll work. We have a programming resources channel. Pop that in there. So SQL is a little bit rough if you aren't familiar with querying languages. But after you get the order of it, like, I don't know, I think about SQL phonetically. And then there's like, it's like learning English, phonetic English with some slight weirdisms. My first job at a startup. Yeah, I was at a startup because that was how I prompted them to let me work there. I was like, yo, it'll make you look good by hiring young tech talent out of the bootcamp scene. And they were like, oh yeah, that would. We could do like PR and stuff. And I was like, yeah, I know. And then you look like this great revolutionary startup. And they were like, yo, that's good. And I was like, can I work here now? Part-time? Let me do something. It wasn't that easy. Did I have any experience prior to coding bootcamp? I took an HTML class in high school where I remember the marquee tag. So you'd put something in a marquee and then it would just go across the screen. I thought that was like the coolest shit ever. Database structure is a real skill. Yeah. Yeah, we do that. One of the courses here is database structures, relational databases, how they all work. More schooling in the crypto industry. Yeah, I'll teach you guys Rolang when that is fully finished. And maybe I'll teach you some Solidity. But who knows? Maybe Ethereum dies one day and then Solidity is useless. Yeah, you got to know databases. Like, even if you're not the one making the databases, you're going to need to know how to interact with them. Erlang is reflective higher order calculus based coding language, if I remember correctly. I edited that video so many times that I am fluent in the original version of Erlang. Took me so long to understand where to cut. Like, I was like, does this make sense? Can I explain how he is my student? So we go to a school, or there's a company called OpenClassrooms. It's European based, and that's where I teach. So I didn't pick him. He didn't pick me. He just got assigned to me, and I meet with him once a week for an hour. I answer his questions, help him apply to jobs, any questions he has. It's not like a boot camp, right? So $300 a month, and he follows the courses that are provided, and then I meet with him and help him understand everything. Yep. C# SQL Server. I mean, I work with C# and SQL. Any thoughts on SVG? Like, are we talking like UI? So that's what I think of. Mike, you got questions?
I do have GitHub portfolio. Yes, I do. I don't have GitHub pages, but I have a live website portfolio, all that stuff. So I got my 3 interviews. Actually, I had 3 so far. They're all from my website. People who looked at it, they liked it, and called me.
Can you see? I don't know. Maybe message him in Discord.
Sounds good.
Do I ever review websites? I mean, I guess. I don't know. What's the point of doing that? I look at awards more than I review them. Awards is a cool place for like front-end focused stuff, for like interaction and UI and UX. But like reviewing websites purely to review them, I don't have access to their code, and it's all minified. And like even if I unminify it, I'm like, I don't know what this says. This take me a while to debug. I mean, are you saying like a portfolio website? Yeah, I'll look at yours for sure. Let's talk about it. Is cryptocurrency a good thing to invest in? Maybe not the currency itself, but the blockchain as a maybe not an idea, because it's more than an idea, but blockchain's not going away anytime soon. The cryptocurrencies surrounding it, they come and go. What is Michael's handle on Discord? So he's an admin. His name is Holmy. Do I know Redis? A little bit. I've messed with it like once. So if that's enough to qualify as a little bit, then I would say that. Otherwise, no, not really. No, it's
Holmy.
Yeah.
I'll show you. I'll type it. Like my last name. There you go.
Yeah. So we got 2 more minutes. Ask us any more questions. Free to answer. Then I have to go. Yeah, blockchain tech's not going anywhere, but the coins and all that, all the dApps that are around it, they need applications, practical applications. How long has he been learning? 6 months.
6 months.
It's on interview. What does a doc type do, and what kind of things when designing for multilingual sites? That's a pretty specific question. Did you research that prior to? What's the reflection of your glasses, Mike?
It is for computers, yes. If I don't wear them, I get headaches. So they help a lot.
Oh, that's me. Hold on. All right, anyways. How do you determine whether or not your knowledge is enough? There's no moment. You just need to know JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Sass, a front-end framework, how to do some SQL. 31337. I would say 717, because that's my birthday. Unfortunately, it's not Saturday. Discontinue undergrad to pursue coding. Full stack bootcamp. How good would I be for a job? Yeah, dude, you're good. It's possible to do it. I mean, just make sure there's a guarantee, because otherwise I would... Maybe I don't know. Just make sure there's a guarantee, because there's no reason not to go one that doesn't have a guarantee. There's so many out there that do. at least do yourself a favor by ensuring that you get a job. Do I want to work on self-driving cars? No, I want to work on self-driving drones. Like, have you seen those videos with the drones flying around? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, so I think that's it. We're going to sign off for the night. Discontinue undergrad for a job. Yeah, I don't know about that. Yeah, see? Maybe Nash. Makes more sense. Cool, guys. What's up, dude? We'll see you guys in a bit. Appreciate you guys hanging out. It's been about an hour, so
Thank you.
I think we're good to go. And my screen froze, so that's
Video
fantastic.
feed froze, but I still see. There we go.
Guys, you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out. YouTube gains are real. Let's see. Like, I think it'd be really cool if I could get 10K by my birthday on Tuesday. Or the 17th. I think that's not Tuesday, but I don't know. That's the goal. That'd be sweet. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Hit me in the Discord. Shoot me an email if you got any questions. Hit me with your course ideas, video ideas, etc. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Later.